Well, Brandon, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
You've pushed your body to the limits with Ironmans and 100-mile races. This is definitely something I want to just jump right into right off the bat. What's some moment in one of these races where you thought, I might not make it, or what did you learn about yourself in that moment?
Usually the funny thing is those moments happen sometime in training, even though they can be in the race. Like before you go into something like that, you've already decided how much you're willing to hurt, how badly you want it because you're doing all the training. So at some point in a 20-week training block, in some training run, maybe it's by yourself or with some close partners, and you go, I'm gonna be able to do this. And I'll just reach back for that moment when I've decided I've suffered enough. I know how to fuel myself. I know how to bounce back from low points because I know they're coming. So I tend to think that those moments are in training.
Okay. Now, how did you get into this? Like, where did you start off just like doing 5K and then you're like, oh, I want to up it. No, let's do a 10K and then a marathon. And then
Totally.
it was just kind of like just leveling up from there.
Absolutely. I think it's strongly linked to like being under control at my day job and then going, what can I do that's like kind of wild in the weekend?
Okay.
Just as a juxtaposition to the life, something that's tame and under control and conservative and regular and scheduled. And then, all right, how do I kind of spaz out?
Go be a savage.
Totally. So started off with a 5K. And then if I hear people say 10K or half marathon, I'm like, that's a gateway distance.
Yeah.
You'll be doing a marathon. You're hooked. Bad news.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, it was okay. Can I do one? Okay. How fast can I do one? Okay. Can I do one when it's really cold or when it's really hot? And then, all right, if I could do 5K like that, how fast could I do 10? And then it snowballed totally out of control.
Okay.
Until you do something too much and your body's not ready for it. You get hurt. Shoot. What about swimming? I wonder if I could not get hurt swimming. Or what if I rode a bike? My knees won't hurt so bad. And then you mash those things together.
That's how you get an Ironman.
I don't know if that's how everybody gets to it, but I was just looking for the next default thing that I thought would not injure me so badly.
Okay.
But I could still ruin that too.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing this?
Well, I used to do it a lot, and
Okay.
it was a big part of who I was, and I still identify maybe as a triathlete, even if I haven't signed up for one in forever.
I figure if you can compete in one and you complete it, you're
You're
a
in the
triathlete.
club.
Yeah, you've done it.
I think so. I was the guy who figured those things out over a period of a couple of years and said, I did one. People go, cool. Which one are you going to do next? I go, why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
I'm getting the tattoo.
I did it.
I am. And then, and I can always be called an Ironman. And why would I want to do another one? They're so hard and so much can go wrong. Like it wasn't broken. I had no need to go and fix it. Not myself or anything. So I literally found my limit on those things, which is great. My wife was like, stop. So that was good.
Well,
It was
now
good
it's-
to
now
know
it's-
that I didn't need to sign up for another one.
Yeah.
And try to do back-to-back weekends or something really stupid.
So now, does that mean you're not running or doing any of those races anymore either? Or do you just for fun, as charity stuff, just to get out there and
It's just a little bit of dabbling, and
Yeah.
it's like, when you get old like me, it's hey, do I have a kind of a new era personal record? Because you can't keep getting faster and keep topping yourself. I think in your 40s.
Yeah.
If you do, it's pretty phenomenal.
right?
So I kind of have to.
Unless you're David Goggins,
Right,
Yeah.
and
Or
you
Cam
are
Hanes
right,
or
or
something.
Cam-
an
yeah.
absolute monster.
Insane.
Totally. It's hard to, stay that fit or stay that motivated all the time.
Right.
So,
Well, not to
now
mention
it's-
those guys have made a whole life and living and career off of those things.
yes, they
So-
figured out how to not make it the weekend warrior.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, when you're plowing a ton of hours into training, work will suffer or family will suffer.
Something.
Things like that, something has to give. And you, oh my God, my fun hobby thing.
Mhm.
What have I done?
Yeah, that's
Training
crazy.
for Ironman is now a job on Saturday morning. And
Right.
Oh yeah,
So-
I follow Cam Hanes a lot, and I've been following him for a while. But he was, there was a point where he was running like a marathon a day,
Yeah,
like
right.
which is insane.
And-
like what?
And so then when
Like
you're mentally there, he goes, well, I guess I could just like maybe rest for a couple of days and then I'll run 100 on Thursday. And that becomes no big deal. It's all yes, it's the physical capability, but mentally just deciding that, oh, I could do this. If I slowed down, I could probably do that.
Right. Well, speaking of the mental side of it, I mean, what does it taught you about mental resilience, and how has that carried over into business for you?
I, I tend to think of it in terms of suffering, and maybe that's not the most healthy way to look at it, but in being able to endure.
Mm-hmm.
Minute to minute, you can do anything. Even really hurting at the tail end of a marathon, I can do anything for 2 more minutes. I can do anything for 2 more miles.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out you can also do anything for 2 more months, 2 more years.
Mm-hmm.
You just extrapolate it. So I think it's hardening yourself in those small moments, taking that and saying, I can do this meeting, I can do this task, I can do this contract, I can do this interview, whatever it might be. When you've done something that seems relatively small so many times, I think there's still muscle memory built when it becomes a big moment, something that's life-changing or it just has a bigger magnitude.
That's awesome.
Well, speaking on that mental toughness, you think that the ability to endure suffering, do you think that that's a or like a DNA thing, or do you think that's something that's learned over time?
That's a great question. I want to see if you also have an answer that would be different than mine, maybe based on your experience, because it's cool to explore.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I would say I'm probably, sounds weird, blessed genetically to be predisposed to be able to suffer. I think I can outsuffer someone. I may not be more talented. I may not have trained better, but if it's hot, for example, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I hope it's just melting everyone else. I think that, and my body will behave in a way that allows me to keep going when others shut down. So there has to be something to that,
Sure,
physically or genetically. And then once you believe it, you look at a weather forecast before a race or before training or before anything, and you go, awesome, I hope it rains the whole time.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I personally
weird.
think it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
I think your brain is a muscle. You have to train that aspect. You have to train that muscle. But you also have to have the physical abilities to handle that. Like you said, you're physically physically capable of being able to handle heat or do things that allow people to suffer. But I do think you have to train the mental aspect of that to be able to still cope with that.
Yeah. Get up in the morning and decide you want to go do it.
Right.
yeah.
That's the hard part.
I mean, I would think for me personally, I think it's something that was learned. I don't neither of my parents, I would say, are like athletes or there's not like a bunch of genetic freaks in my family. I'm like really one of the only people that, in my family that's exercises like I do at least, like everybody, there's people that work out and stuff, but like to the level that I've kind of pushed it to, I don't think that there's anybody else in my family that's gotten to that point unless, really that I'm aware of. My brother's ran a marathon and he's done a couple halves.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's, I think that was like over time we've like evolved and, just pushed each other. And I mean, for me, it was playing sports, football and wrestling, changed my life. And the coaches that I had for that really changed my mentality. I remember that freshman year of high school football was because I had never cared about sports my whole life until I started playing football and I became part of the team. And I played soccer, baseball, basketball, and none of them I really cared for all that much because I guess I didn't really love it like I did. And then football, I was never very good at football, but I enjoyed the camaraderie and I enjoyed the violence of it.
Yeah.
But then when I got into wrestling, that was something that I learned that I could excel at. And not that I was a phenomenal wrestler by any means in high school, but I was upper tier on my team. At least.
Did you get obsessed with it?
100%. And then as I've grown and when I got into my mid-20s, I really became insanely obsessed with jiu-jitsu, and that's that's what I do,
until you don't, and then you're obsessed with
something else. Yeah.
Probably,
I mean, who knows?
Right? Maybe it's adjacent, but that's
But I think it's just something that I've and I think it comes with an obsession. So you gotta love it, and then I think that just makes you want to do it more and suffer more and level up. And you see other people that you're surrounded with and what they're capable of, and well, if he can do it, and then I can do it. And like
Totally.
once you get in the room with people that are, you know, maybe a level above you, and then you get to know them. They're like, oh, they're just people too.
Yeah.
They were at the point that I was at one point, and so like, how do I evolve to that next level? It's like, hey, I keep going. I listen to advice from smart people, and I just keep doing it.
It's a funny mentality to see something and be like, I could probably do that.
Yeah,
It's a little dangerous.
100%.
There's a whole bunch of stuff I'm really terrible at that I thought I could probably do that. Like,
And I think it applies to business as well, because like I've been doing in the real estate business for about 6 years, and but before I got into that, I wasn't surrounded by a lot of, I don't want to say not successful people, but people that weren't as motivated and driven, and they were doing like things that were not just the out of the ordinary. They all have just regular 9-to-5 jobs, and they go in, do the thing, come home, wake up the next morning, do the thing. And until I got around people that were, making, they were business owners or making, really good money. And I realized like, oh, he's just a person like me. And, not that long ago, he was probably in my shoes. And then look at where he's at now. Like he lives in this big, nice house. He drives a really nice car. Like, okay, well, he's just a normal guy. I hang out with him all the time. We're like friends. And like, oh, okay, well, yeah, if I just keep doing the things that I'm doing, like, okay, and then I'm going to kind of level up my life too. And I think it just slowly happens over time.
can't I just make a similar set of decisions?
Yeah, exactly. Why don't I just do that?
You can.
Anybody
can.
Yeah.
Just surround yourself with those people.
You just haven't yet or hadn't.
Yeah.
People just don't, but they could.
Yeah.
It's making it sound way too easy.
But it is.
It is.
There you go.
We all have the opportunity.
I shouldn't say it. I guess we shouldn't say it's easy. It's simple.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
If you
It's
broke
simple,
it down
it's
and
not
just said,
easy.
what would you do next? What one thing would you do next? I don't need 7 steps or 20 steps or a grand plan. What one thing would you do next?
Yeah.
Okay, people probably know what the one
thing.
step would be.
Yeah, what's that one step? Okay, then that step. What's the step after that?
Yeah.
Next step.
The problem is those that get too caught up in that planning, and then they they don't make the leap.
Analysis by paralysis.
Yeah.
Or paralysis analysis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't say it. I was gonna.
Yeah. I mean, we were
Spot on.
you were texting about the coming on in the podcast and seeing how all this works and all that. I mean, for us, like honestly, you shot me a text one day. Hey, you want to do a podcast? Absolutely.
Absolutely,
5 days. 5 days later, we were recording. Like
Yeah,
it was just we
do it.
sat down. He texted me a couple days later. We sat down, kind of came up with a game plan on what it was, and then we bought everything and boom.
That's why. Did you guys watch The Office?
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
Okay, and there's a one rerun I saw recently, and it's Jim. They're interviewing him, and he goes, "One thing I've learned is that if Dwight asks you if you want to know a secret or if you want to go in on a plan, you say absolutely I do."
Yeah.
And you got to have a guy,
Yeah.
a buddy, who
Mhm.
says absolutely I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's about finding those people.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that I know that I grew up with that I kind of felt like I was always pushing them to do
Mhm.
things that maybe they didn't necessarily want to do. Like like, hey, let's go work out, let's go do these
Yeah.
things. And like after a while, you can only ask so many times before I'm going to stop. And you say no before I'm going to stop asking.
Yeah,
Like after
totally.
a while,
Right.
Like I remember a friend of mine told me once, and he said like Zach, I feel like our whole relationship is you trying to get me to do things I don't want to do. And I was like, yeah, I guess, now that I think about it, you're kind of right.
Yeah. So who's the person that drags you along?
Yes, you need that person too.
I think it's good.
Oh, I agree.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
It's like you are who you surround yourself with. And like, I'm sure there's, people that you did races with or, trained with, or is there like a community like that where you guys like all meet up and do bike rides? Or like,
There are pockets of very tight knit communities.
oh, I'm sure.
Where it's fascinating to know somebody only Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:15 on the corner of Sappington and Essex.
Yeah.
It's the only place you ever meet up with them. Maybe coffee afterwards.
Sure.
You only ever see them in
Running clothes or
right,
whatever.
In
Yeah.
running gear. That's it.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, when you see them in the real world or whatever, it's almost odd.
Yeah.
It's weird when you have sleeves.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
What's different about you today?
Right.
Oh, your shorts are more than 4 inches.
Right.
Super good job getting dressed
Right,
today.
yeah, you look great. Well, yeah, like funny. Yeah. We went to like I mentioned I compete in jiu-jitsu and I train and coach at this gym, and we went to an event recently, and like one of the girls who's been coming for a while,
Yeah.
you know, in jiu-jitsu, you know, she's all, you know, sweaty and her hair's a mess and like, you know, she's in a gi and like,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden I see her and like, and she was like all dressed, all dolled up. And I was like, oh my God, Amanda, I didn't even recognize you. You know, like, holy
Sorry.
God. You know,
Yeah.
like she goes, Zach, it's Amanda. I'm like, holy shit. Like like I barely even, like she had to like say it for me to realize like, holy shit. Like I didn't even realize that was you for a second. Cause I'm so used to seeing you, you know, all sweaty and, you know, and in a gi and
after that, there's no pretension. There's nothing to hide. It's all gravy from there when you know somebody to that level.
oh yeah, and, you know, and it's just so funny that it's so true, you know, and then you know because you don't a lot of those guys you might not see outside the gym or outside the club or outside the things, and then when you see them in real life, you're like, oh, you kind of get a different perspective.
Yeah, and then the other side of that coin though is you get hurt or you stop training for marathons, you stop showing up for long runs, and you stop getting on your bike and stop doing some of those things that I did. I stopped seeing those people. They're still my friends.
Yeah,
I still think they're my friends.
Yeah.
And I would still, you know, have a beer, have a coffee, bump into the grocery store and track them down, whatever it might be. But oh shoot, we don't spend time anymore because we don't do that activity.
Right.
That's the only problem with finding the next thing you're going to throw yourself at or be drug into.
right.
Yeah, because now you're throwing yourself in a whole new set of people that you're connecting with and all that. So
looking at someone and going, I think I could probably do that too.
Yeah. So what is that next thing for you? Have you come up, or was it starting the business?
We're doing it.
Yeah, the business.
Yeah, my partner Steve and I are doing it. We did it. We had the
Awesome.
conversation. It wasn't quite a 5-day turnaround to buying all the equipment, but damn near.
Well, you guys probably need a lot more equipment
Yeah.
than we do. 2 cameras, 3 microphones.
Yes.
You know.
A table.
Yeah, a table.
Some of it
Some
seems
chairs from Amazon.
A Murph.
Yeah, and a Murph. Murph's our producer.
Gotta have a
Yeah.
Murph.
Yeah, gotta have a Murph.
If we didn't have a Murph,
We have a Kyle. A lot of people have a Murph.
Yeah.
No, it was just an aha moment, and then oh, okay, should we do this? Yep. Great. Okay, cool. So when do we sign a lease? Well, I mean, as soon as they'll give us one. Okay. It was almost that simple.
Yeah.
Because I think I'd done enough watching and waiting and looking how it goes from a front row seat.
Yeah.
That when it presented itself, I was in a position to be able to say, this is it. Here we go.
So what is the business, and for the people out there that don't know?
Thank you for asking. It's called Integrity Auto Detail, and it's a luxury auto spa.
Okay.
If you go to a spa or an esthetician for your face, hands, similarly, you'd come to us to treat your car to things it needs and deserves periodically.
Okay.
So is this just like interior cleaning, exterior cleaning? Is it like cleaning, or is it like?
So even though detail is in our name, that's kind of think of that as like the necessary evil part of it. You have to do that because it's assumed and included, but really it's a lot more aesthetic and personal. Vinyl wraps, full color changes, paint protection film to take care of a new car, or a ceramic coating to lock in a good finish after a paint enhancement. Window tint, of course, we love it. It looks cool, it keeps you cool.
Yeah.
It's all of those things that we tuck under that detailing umbrella where we believe, hey, making sure the interior is perfectly spotless before anything leaves our shop. That's just part of what we do, as opposed to I got some French fries on the floor and my cup holders are a mess.
Yeah.
Okay, that's we can do it, but that's probably a different shop.
Yeah.
For something that's just that.
Just that. Okay.
So did this come from a love of cars and or affinity for cars, or was this something that you saw was missing in an industry and was like, you know what, I can capitalize on this?
Definitely a couple of obsessions or compulsions.
Oh, okay.
Like I've discovered over the years, I really do enjoy deep cleaning a car, wax or a ceramic. Like
Gotcha.
I'm passionate about detailing,
Yeah.
having the right tool for the job. That's an air compressor or a brush, having the right soaps and waxes, just like going all into it, right?
Mhm.
You probably have a favorite gi manufacturer.
Sure.
And you go, oh man, that's the one I want to have and try, and what's different. So really throwing myself down that rabbit hole over time. And then pairing that with kind of a bigger picture look at things, going, all right, I'm interested in having shorter term outcomes in my work versus maybe if it's real estate, well, I'm going to make this, we're going to cash flow, we're going to do this. And over time, I'll build a portfolio, long game stuff, 7-year, 10-year, whatever the plan might be. And I've done that so I could say, I understand the reward. I understand the value. I understand what goes into it. I want to see something turn in a day.
Yeah.
In a day or a week, we can have a wildly different outcome.
Oh yeah.
Dovetail that with it. I do like cars.
Yeah.
I do like the automotive industry.
Are you a collector of cars yourself?
No, I wouldn't say that. I tend to buy one, think I'm going to have it forever, and sell it 2 years later.
Gotcha.
Probably a pretty bad habit. But sometimes they're older cars, and they're just, you can trade them. And so I tend to.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when, I mean, sometimes cars go up in value over time.
There's some where I've not done poorly, and there's some when I've absolutely taken a bath.
Oh yeah,
But-
me too. Yeah.
But it's fun to do, the culture of it and the excitement of it, and we enjoy that. And then it's fun for my partner and I to celebrate those things for other people and live a little bit vicariously through it. If somebody has a later in life retirement themselves, and they bought, like one of our customers did, a 25-year-old Porsche
Okay.
that had only ever been washed maybe with a Brillo pad in the driveway, made it look brand new again.
That's awesome.
And he almost cried when he picked it up. We're like, oh my God, this guy, look at this. Kind of weird to say, but he got to have a moment.
Right.
We got to
Oh yeah.
ply our craft, and everybody was thrilled. So happy for him to feel like he got this car again. And he was more than thrilled to pay good money to have us do it and share the experience.
Yeah.
We want to try to repeat that.
That's awesome. Yeah, because people in their cars, man. I mean, we had someone on a couple episodes ago, and he is a big car guy. He's got a very big collection, and each one he was talking about had a story to it.
Yeah.
Those people that are collecting cars, they love those cars, and he's like, I don't care if it's a $5,000 beater or if it's a $700,000 car. Like, people have an affinity or a love for that car for a specific reason. So
Absolutely.
Oh, well, he was talking about one that was, I mean, when you were talking about the person tearing up, it made me think of one of the stories he told. Because there was this woman that he knew for
best
a long
friend.
It was
a friend.
a friend of his, right? And her husband passed away, and she had his old car. I can't remember what kind. It was an old Mustang, like a really old Mustang.
Classic.
Yeah, classic Mustang that was sitting in the garage for 10 years. And he knew about it, and eventually made her an offer. But then he took it and completely like restored the whole thing. He said he put stupid amount of money into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went, when it was all done, first thing he did is he went over and picked her up and took her for a ride in it.
Awesome.
And like, she got real emotional because like, she had a hard time getting rid of that car because that was her husband's, her husband's like prized possession. And he took it and just completely brought it back to life after sitting in the garage for 10 years. And
That's it.
like he's even giving me goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
Super cool. It's often non-economical what people are willing to do, to acquire, or to spend to maintain. And so between that type of story or folks literally just picked up a brand new car off the lot. Well, unfortunately, dealers, porters, transporters, traffic film, anything that's happened to the car before you even took possession and had a mile on it, it's probably swirled up. It probably doesn't even look that great. And so we nitpick all the little swirls and get it perfect. Love doing that.
Yeah.
Do you have a story or an experience that other than the Porsche one? Is there another one that stands out to you about someone that you helped with a car, or like a cool design that they asked you to put onto a car or anything like that?
We have been doing some cool color change work, mostly just for the cool factor. Like I always wanted it to be satin, or I always wanted a certain color. In particular, I think because this one was pretty dramatic, happens to be another Porsche. It was a 1988 single stage paint. You know what that is? When you polish it, the pad turns the color of the paint. This thing was candy apple red, so it looks like the pad is gushing red. Oh my God, that's different when you polish clear coat. Nothing.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that. You don't get that visceral reaction or that shocking color on your tool as you're working. So, but for this guy who picked it up in a certain condition, brought it to us, just floored by how new it could look. Like, I mean, that's the most satisfying by far, is to make a change when they think it already looks good. And, and we'll be friends too. And we'll see each other in neighborhoods and at car shows, or kids will go to school together, SLU or Chaminade, or, things like that. And so we build these little community connections. I'll get a kick out of it every time I see that little red car, because it is sharp now.
Yeah. Well, when speaking of communities, that some of the car community is a tight knit group. There's car shows every weekend, and it's usually the same people in and out. Like, yeah, that was something else that Jim was talking about, like the community that goes with it. So,
yeah, people love cars. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So, before you got into the auto detailing, and what were you doing before that?
That was a really winding path across a few things. Mechanical engineer by training originally, didn't really do a whole lot of that before moving to St. Louis and joining a wealth management firm and doing fixed income portfolio management, like bonds for banks, basically. About 10 years of that. Spinning into venture capital for a while. The cool part of that is sports tech. So anything that touches a fan or human performance, we deployed a pretty good amount of dollars in about 75 different companies in that space, and ran an accelerator program in it. And I never thought I was going to do anything but that. Like, that was the plan. And sometimes things come to an end. It's okay. That one did. So the venture capital adventure ceased as we knew it, running programs and bringing in new founders and finding opportunities. I was left going, what am I going to do? What even am I? I'm not an engineer anymore. I don't have a Series 7 license anymore. Not trading bonds every day. Shoot. I might be unhireable. The weirdest resume anybody has ever seen. They've done a bunch of stuff, none of it for very long, or in a way that you'd go, oh, that's the guy to lead this next thing. Super weird. So I struggled to even find a place to work, whether I loved it or not. And then I realized, what if I'm not supposed to go work for someone else? What if a decade of watching other people run really successful businesses that I've been part of, even working for my father-in-law and his group, and another 10 years watching people get things up off the ground and coaching them and guiding them and investing in them, it's time to turn that inward. So take it all, make it selfish, find a partner, and go, let's go do it for us. Let's go do it on our terms, on our clock, on our dime. And it just took a while. It was a wonky, say 18 months to 2 years in the middle.
And that's what leads us to the detailing company.
Yeah. So that was a long-winded way of answering a very simple question. It was
great.
What'd you used to do?
That. Oh, man. We like long-winded
I did some stuff.
Well, I'm sure each one of those taught you something along the way. What was something that you learned from each one that's carried over into the...
I have tremendous stories from being an engineer at a really big company right out of college. Really just a billable hour, which I didn't know what a billable hour was. So I found out pretty quickly that you sometimes need to send your extra overhead engineers on trips to sites where they can go and languish. I went to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, to a military facility, a demilitarization facility, incinerating our Cold War weapons cache. So I worked.
That was probably pretty cool.
I worked on a military base. It was kind of cool, but working in literally a double-wide trailer, not that cool.
No.
Yeah.
A couple times a day they do drills, and you have to put on a gas mask and stay inside, and Humvees would drive by, and they just a whole lot of pomp and circumstance around the safety and security in there. And it is kind of cool. I got access and front row seat to all sorts of weird stuff. They would literally dig up nerve gas and rockets and put them in this facility, cut them open and turn them into a puff of steam, and then basically burn them clean.
Wow.
So it was this I learned to live on my own. I learned to live on a military base. I learned, how to get sent on an assignment. I learned how to be away from my girlfriend who I was plotting to make my fiance. None of that was my plan.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. I was going to sit in an engineering office and do some drawings and consult with clients. Not even close. Not even close. It was great. It was wild times down in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Let me tell you.
How long were you there for?
Gosh, that stint was maybe like 3 or 6 months. And I tell people it was like the longest 3 years of my life. Because as soon as I got there, I was like, well, I need to go back home. I was living between Philadelphia and Princeton. I was like, I got to get out of here immediately. This is where they send people to just end their careers.
So is that where you're
Oh,
from?
man on the totem pole.
Are you from the Philadelphia, the East Coast? Are you from that area?
No, I actually grew up in Spokane, Washington. So
Complete opposite.
I do
All
love
over
me
the
some
place.
Pacific Northwest. It's
Okay.
God's country, as I call it.
Yeah.
But then went to school back east and didn't have any roots back there. I just wanted to go and do something
So
no
what,
one else was doing, or do something different, or do something wasn't Spokane.
Yeah. So what brought you here to St. Louis?
A girl.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
How else does someone get here?
That's
Yeah.
true. Oh, very, very true.
You're born
I mean,
here.
I don't need to repeat that story
Yeah.
for you, do I? But
Yeah.
yeah, my wife's from St. Louis, and
Okay.
we just met at school in Villanova, and we were both doing the same kind of adventure, going, let's try something different. Let's go somewhere else. And then when it came time to, well, let's be around family.
Yeah.
Let's be around somewhere where we do know people. Let's move to St. Louis. I said, okay, that sounds good. Where's that?
Belly button of the country.
Tell me more. Then we got here. I was like, cool. Where do we set up shop?
Yeah, where do we go?
I was just so open to doing,
Whatever.
having adventures. And so engineering was first one there.
Yeah.
It worked. I remember some of those folks very, very vividly in those weird moments of moving out and going really out on my own.
Awesome.
And so from there you went into, you said investing.
Then yeah, really banking
Banking.
and managing fixed income portfolios for banks. Father-in-law said, hey, do you want to, sounds like you're not having the greatest time in the engineering world. This isn't what I thought it would be. He goes, you ever wanted to come to St. Louis? We have a few different businesses, people, and network, and things like that. All stuff I needed and wanted. I went back. I immediately quit. I was like, hey, my 2 weeks, and then I called him back up in St. Louis. I was like, okay, cool, I'm doing it. When do we start? I think he was shocked.
You just like jumped in.
I'm sure he thought it was going to be like a 5-year road toward convincing Laura and Brandon to move back to St. Louis. And I was like, so what do we do?
Yeah, I'm in.
This is awesome. What do we do now?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Where's St. Louis?
I didn't know.
Wow.
So it was throw a book down on the table. This is called the Series 7. Need you to pass this test. I was like, awesome. What is that?
Mm.
No idea.
Fun
But I
times.
just willing to learn stuff and be invited and included and part of something, a family business, a small office, not a billable hour.
Mhm.
Right? That was all pretty critical. And so I learned how you treat people in an entrepreneurial small business
Yeah.
and how you take care of your reputation and how you manage best clients and the unruly ones. Just like to see how people who are really, really good at it did that here.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, you kind of reinvented yourself, over the last few years, diving headfirst into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
What do you think is a narrative that most middle-aged men hold that is holding them back from reinventing themselves?
Oh man, it's got to be what I think next older generation or two probably say that maybe has trickled down. It's, hey, if you've got 5 years in a place, may as well make it 15, and then may as well probably just retire there, pension, things like that. Ride it out.
Ride it out.
Ride it out.
Get to 65, and then you're riding off into the sunset or whatever
Yes.
it is.
Yeah, you're halfway there. You're almost there.
Mhm.
Or
It's
just
like that whole marathon thing.
stick it out.
That's another 2 more miles or whatever it is.
You put in 20, do 20 more.
Right.
You already did it. Just do it again.
You don't have to redecide something. You don't have to move your 401k. You don't have to, all the stuff you don't have to do. Yeah, I was not interested. I just don't think I can take it because the alternative is I'm going to have to sign up for another Ironman or something. Stupid. Can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm a much more sane person since being around entrepreneurship and living vicariously, supporting people who I know are leveraging their lives and borrowing money from friends, family, and fools, right? Early stage stuff. Getting close to that took the edge off of what I think I was trying to do on the weekends to feel something more intense.
Yeah.
Probably what you guys.
No, that was
went
great.
through.
I think it's fear. I think fear holds a lot of people back. Fear of the unknown. I mean, it's a scary thing, if you're used to having a paycheck every month, like, or every 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden, like, that with entrepreneurship, that's not guaranteed anymore. Like, you're all,
in fact, you should plan not to.
Yeah, plan not to, for sure.
If we're being really honest.
Yeah, especially when you're starting off, definitely don't plan on it. Like, don't bank on that. Like, have a plan financially. Like, I would never advise anybody, like, just, hey, I want to start a business. Okay, well, first thing, let's figure out a plan first. Let's not quit your job yet.
Yeah.
Let's really iron out this plan. Maybe we start doing stuff on the side on the weekends, or at nights, or whenever you're not at work, and then kind of get that ball rolling. But like to quit the job and immediately just dive into the thing, like that's risky business, and
minimum viable product, great way to go.
Yeah.
Also, it helps to have an endlessly supportive and saint-like spouse.
Oh, 100%.
My partner and I can vouch for that 10 times over. You can't do it if you're coming home to, are you still doing that?
Yes.
I don't think that works.
No.
So like everybody's got to be all in.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I mean, I think I've heard that before. The most important decision you make in your whole life is who you marry, and who you decide to spend the rest of your life with. And I think that's very true in my life. I've been blessed to. I met my wife in high school. We've been together for 15 years, and
wow.
we've been married for 7, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll be 7 next month. But
are you sure?
We can edit this, right? It's going to be fine. We got you.
Maybe it's 6. We got married in 2019, so I guess it's 6. Been together for 15.
All blissful. That's the point.
Because I know we were together for 9 years before we got married. So 9 plus 6 is 15. All right, sorry, honey.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry, honey. But I think it's the most important decision that you make, because I got to think of those early years of the real estate business when I was gone a lot. Even the first year or two of my oldest son's life, I was definitely not home as much as I am now. And over the last 2 years, I've made it a much more a bigger priority in my life to be at home, to spend way more time with my kids than I was those first couple of years. And and just not having that support at home. If I and there are times in my business where it gets crazy, and she knows that, and she's like, okay, well, and it just so happens to work out nicely. That's a time where she's not working because she's a school teacher.
Perfect.
So busiest time of the year for me is typically spring into summer, and then which is right now. And she's home with the kids, and doesn't have to work, and so it works out a little bit better. But if I had to come home to her being upset with me that I'm gone all the time, like it wouldn't work. Right. And there are times where when I'm gone a lot that we kind of have to discuss things, and it's like, but that's part of it. It's constantly an evolving thing, and I know that most of the problems root from me not communicating well to her, like, hey, I'm sorry, I should have let you know I had this thing and I forgot to tell you, and I'm sorry, but I got to be there, or whatever it is. And that's where we run into issues, and it's always usually my fault for not being able to communicate or forgetting to tell her about something or something along the lines of that. But
we were just talking about that today in the car on the way here, about the importance of not always just reporting good news, especially as we've got this business 90 days going. And anybody who asks, how's it going? How's business? I want to say it's great. It's totally great. But I'm usually way more candid than that. I go, some days are so busy, we're not sure how we're going to get something done by the time the customer picks it up. Oh my God, they're going to be here in a minute. Stressful. But some days we go, okay, what are we going to do today?
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality of it. So I cautious to report that to home too. Today was slow. Today was great. Had a huge day. We delivered something late today. Whatever it is, just being honest so that you get used to the ups and downs that are totally natural.
Mhm.
If I always just said it was great, and one day when it's not, the story will be, you said it was great. You said it was going really well every time I asked. I don't know. I'm honest. We were on a early stage roller coaster that we believe has this awesome upward trajectory, and days are up and down, and that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. I believe it's probably true. It's got to be true in every business. There's not always going to be, not always sunshine and rainbows, but I tend to do the same thing too, where I feel like I'm always telling people, how's the market? How's this? How's that? And it's like,
Never better.
It's great. Busy.
Love
So
those
busy,
interest rates.
and then I'm like, am I just like saying that because I like want to
Wishful thinking.
You make it great.
It's a positive mental attitude.
Yes,
Right.
like
Who could
that's
fault that.
Yeah.
right. I feel like that's what it is you're just trying to like, I'm just going to be positive because that's going to make it happen, or whatever it is. Yeah, I definitely do that.
Yeah. It's just people are always like, well, how's the market? I'm like, or is it busy? Is it this? I'm like, well, I'm doing a lot of pre-approvals, but contracts are slow. So
Okay.
there's a difference. Like
That's your thumb on the pulse,
right.
for sure.
Exactly. So it's just like, hey, yeah, I think that there's plenty of people that want to buy, but it's still not, it's not generating a lot of people there's not finding homes. So they get the both like, oh yeah, there's people wanting to buy, but it's still a good time to buy, but there's just not a lot to buy.
Right.
So, but having started, so do you think starting as an entrepreneur earlier in life versus later in life has a benefit, or vice versa? Because I mean, my personal thinking is like, sure, starting over is scary, but I feel like as someone that might be older a little bit, like you've established a career, but you've also might be a little bit more wise and patient than at a younger age, that you might just, I don't know. I always thought like starting a career as a older person would be that more beneficial than younger.
That's super interesting. I'd think that if I were in my 20s and had the wherewithal to think that I could start something, I probably would have made a mess of it pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's
when
kind
I
of
look back. When I look back at, say, so my version of 20s, as I got to know and was on the board of, or supported or invested in young entrepreneurs in their 20s, and I think about how impressive they are to lead teams, how impressive they are to build tech, how impressive they are to have a board, to do all of those things. I was still learning a new industry. I couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have done it without watching other people sometimes absolutely run stuff into the ground, make a ton of mistakes. That benefit is I got to see it. Sucks when you lose your money.
Yeah,
that's awful. It is a numbers game. But yeah, I think having the wherewithal, the support from home, the ability to do something a little later, still with some good runway in front of me. I feel like it's a sweet spot. That was meant to be. This is supposed to be the time when I'm supposed to invest in myself, with all the knowledge that I've gained.
Yeah.
I mean, because like if you see all these posts, you see all the stuff like Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, Colonel Sanders, all of these guys were older when all this stuff started, and they've turned into very, very successful companies. So I wonder if I just kind of always think, but I guess, I mean, kind of look back and see who are some of those younger entrepreneurs that created stuff. But like Elon Musk, what he was in his late 30s.
Well, he made his money on, I think originally it was PayPal.
Yeah.
I think it was PayPal first, and then that snowballed into all the other things he does with Tesla and the Boring Company, SpaceX, and all the other things. But I don't know how old he was when that started. I mean, he probably wasn't that young when he did PayPal. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think the whole patience aspect comes into it, and the fact that we're in a generation where people want things right now that they don't have. Like they're like, oh, I'm just going to start a business, and it fails, and they're like, oh, I'm just going to start another one, one. And here we are. It's like nothing's been successful because they haven't been patient with it to go through. That's why I think like, hey, maybe give it some time, run through these different jobs, help establish what you do and don't like, take the things that you want from them, and then now you can go and start your own business.
I call it getting the right butts in the right seats.
Yeah.
So that you don't end up with stuff that you don't like to do and or aren't good at. It's a thin line between running something with so much grit and stick-to-itiveness that you're able to keep running it when you really shouldn't.
Yeah.
I saw that a few times, and it took me maybe 8 or 10 years to look back and be like, that wasn't a venture backable company. Maybe it should have been a lifestyle business. It was never meant to grow that big, not with either that leadership or that market size or whatever it was. We kind of treated everything as if it were investable to return multiples on. And I think that was a mistake. So seeing enough times, the ability to recognize type of business it should be, and should you grind it out and be patient and take your time and grow it slowly, or pour a whole bunch of money on it and run fast and sprint and see if it takes off. The difference between those can be actually pretty wide.
Yeah. I can imagine. I mean, I'm sure there's some industries where it's like, hey, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Like,
Right place, right time.
Yep. And then other ones where it's like, hey, this is going to be more of a slow play. Like, this is something that you got to develop brand awareness and brand recognition and all that stuff that might take a little bit longer. So,
yeah. And I would be fearful that if something were not going well, I would have absolute refusal to quit. I would be super stubborn. I would endure incredible amounts of pain and suffering in order to keep it alive, because that's just somehow wired in me. So it's good, though, that I can look back and see ways to navigate that or to mitigate it, or to find the right mentorship to go help me decide where are we in this cycle.
Well, is this something that pops into your brain because you are somebody that, hey, once I've accomplished something, I need to move on to the next? Once you get this business up and running, have you thought, like, I might have to start a new one because I've made this one successful?
I'd like to think it's more like the Iron Man thing.
Yeah. Like, you've done
like,
this.
I did that. I'm good. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of like, I started this business, I'm not going to go start another business. I started a business.
Yeah. That's the kind of question somebody maybe who knew me for a long time would ask us. Very interesting that you did. The vision is this is our last show.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Legacy.
grow it and become something that we're really proud of. Maybe the kids want to run it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My partner and I have teenage kids.
Okay.
Maybe they want to be entrepreneurs. Maybe they want to be technicians executing work. Maybe they want to be marketers. Maybe they want to be in sales support. Maybe they want to be part of something that we're doing here. And that would be cool. It's never necessarily the mission. But to build something a little bigger than ourselves, I think will take a lot of time and energy and effort. So I'm probably more built for the long haul than some of those serial entrepreneurs that start things up and hand them off.
Yeah.
Man, I want to be part of it.
You can also evolve this business, by scaling it, multiple locations, stuff like that. Like, it doesn't necessarily just have to be the one shop.
Totally.
Like there's other ways to evolve within that business.
Is that part of the plan or part of the game plan, or
not yet?
Gotcha.
And not clearly. There's this vision where we can see, should we wrap commercial vehicles? Should we do ceramic coatings in the aviation industry and agriculture? That's huge.
Oh,
really?
Sure.
Big dollars to ceramic coat combine.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because if you keep your $750,000 vehicle, farm equipment looking wonderful, it's worth a lot more when you go to sell it versus the rundown one. It's like it's tenfold what it would be for a car for a daily driver. It's pretty amazing. We go, hey, look, we've got this beautiful little 7,000 square foot shop in Rock Hill. This little shiny corner of the world. We're getting our feet under us. Well, there's so much to chew on to get these processes down and do one thing at a time really well. A couple cars at a time.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're going to be working on something that large as like in terms of a plane or a combine,
and you're mobile,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're going to them.
Yeah,
probably.
Big time. And then who's running the shop?
Right.
Well, right now we just want to be part of what's happening every day, from greeting a customer and triaging inbound to doing the final wipe down and running the credit card and then saying, hey, please leave us a review. Like all of that is the parts that we enjoy shoot, should we look out to literally just the west a little bit and the farm ground and the equipment and the dollars and go mobile? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. That can be something we bat around, but right now it's a lot more near term.
Yeah.
What do we got coming in tomorrow?
Yeah. Let's
How's
think about
Monday
right
look?
here and now. Yeah.
And how long have you guys been open?
It'll be 90 days, I think, tomorrow.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Yeah. Congrats.
That's awesome.
It's huge.
Yeah, it feels like a lot longer than that because I think it took us almost a year from breaking ground and grabbing a website, a domain.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But 90 days of doing work feels really good.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. That's amazing, man.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Well, Brandon, you're a father as well, so that's something we always like to kind of talk about on the show.
Oh, yeah.
You have 3 kids, you said?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And what are their ages?
So they range oldest 18. I'm repping the Auburn shirt today.
Is that where she's
Literally just hopped on a plane to go do some orientation.
Oh,
Okay.
fun.
So she's there with my wife to have a week of getting immersed in that.
Cool.
That's a whole can of worms having
Gosh,
a
that's
teenage
gotta be
daughter, and
wild.
I'll tell her that right to her face. I mean,
Yeah.
she knows this isn't a secret.
Is she your only daughter?
Yes. So
Okay.
my oldest is a girl, that's Bennett, and then my boys just range slightly younger. Miles is a rising sophomore at SLU, and Bryant is a 7th grader going into switch over to Priory, try a new school.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so lots of changes and teenage angst and stuff all up in my house.
Yeah. How's starting a business with, I mean, I guess it's must be a little bit easier when your kids are a little bit older.
Yeah.
You don't exactly have to watch their every movement. Like my kids are very young still. My oldest is 3. So, we're in the thick of it right now. So, but was there, what do they think about the whole business venture and everything? Is that
It ranges as wide as they are different. Their personalities and interests and stages of life, and so it really runs the gamut. And my middle child, Miles, he's a car guy.
Okay.
He'll play Forza, and we'll see something drive down the street, and he'll recognize it. And he's come to the shop, and we've taught him how to polish and do a little window tint. So totally capable of that stuff and gets involved. But oddly, it's my youngest who every day checks in on me. This morning he goes, "Dad had to go yesterday with that vinyl wrap." Told him, "And what do you got coming in tomorrow?" And he goes, "So has it been a good week?" Like, he's checking in on me.
Yeah.
He's the manager.
Which is super cool. Good. Need people to check in on us, know whether they're 7th grade or 70. Yeah. So, and some try to understand what does it mean to have a successful small business in terms of the dollars and the cents and cash flow, and others are like, "Oh wow, that's a shiny car."
Yeah.
Run the game.
Well, having both boys and girls, what's that parenting style, or how is that different as
Man,
in terms of
loaded
Mm.
question. It's pretty different, and maybe it's just our house, but we have 3 very distinctly different children. One is not even a little bit like the other, really. Like you would almost think they were raised by different people, so they have to adapt to totally different styles of who enjoys quality time, who the love languages,
Mhm.
Sure.
wildly different.
Well, I think that's
Smaller.
pretty awesome and speaks volumes to your guys' as parenting, is that you're not hurting them into a category and you're letting them be
We
their own
can't.
individual.
They won't go
people.
there.
Yeah. Okay.
We tried. I was like, "Why didn't this work with you?"
Yeah.
Dang. But yeah, so it could be something really, really tight. I could get my youngest a $1 fishing lure, and he would think it was like the most incredible thing. A couple baseball cards. He'd be just absolutely thrilled. Middle son would love to spend quality time, go to a car show, or just shoot hoops in the driveway. It's easy to do different things, and one isn't looking at the other being jealous at all. I've only ever taken Miles on hunting trips. We went to Washington State, hunting with my dad. Bryant is mildly interested, but doesn't say, "You didn't take me on a trip. Why don't you take me?" He knows that's Miles' thing. It's something that we share, and we get to have that. Bennett and I ran together a lot. We shared miles and events and races and things like that together. And nobody else said, why don't you take me into a 5K? Well, because that's our thing, and that's okay. So
how do you do that? I'm curious because like my boys, like
we don't keep score.
Yeah.
Because that's, I think, the slippery slope. If you try to even it all out, try too hard to even it all out, I just think it gets away from you.
Yeah.
And if I knew what like the formula was,
Yeah, it'd be nice. You can make a lot of money.
it might be. I was just trying real hard for somebody to like me. So if that means it means it's 30 degrees and icy, and I got to go shoot hoops, I'll do that. But I love to do that.
Awesome.
I don't know about the purposefulness of it.
Yeah. And how are those relationships evolved as they gotten older?
Well, that's another tough one too. Like there's a belief and there's a resounding story that everybody will tell me. Kids will go off to college and they will come back different. They're more mature, more loving, more a better outlook on what they want to do next and things like that. So I think that's happening with my oldest. I'm trying to give her all the grace and space to do it, because there's not a lot of coming around to dad and asking for advice. How'd that go? What was that like? How should I handle this? She's ready to do it on her own. So I don't get to participate very much, even if I think I have a lot to offer.
Mm-hmm.
I got to sit on it. Okay, cool. What do I do with this? I think I should weigh in here. The answer a lot of times is don't.
Oh wow,
that's tough. Like
yeah,
you can hear me. I
got
got words to get out, right?
Sure.
And sometimes I really want to aim them in her direction, but she's got this totally brave and totally ready to go off and do her own thing. So I'm trying to be supported rather than slighted, or supportive rather than slighted by that.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about writing it down and then like presenting that to her? Like, hey, this is where my mind was through the years of your life.
I have actually recently written a letter. It was as a function of a retreat that she went on that our kids will all do, whether they're maybe freshmen or sophomores, and the various retreats, school or parish. Probably do it a lot more. I'd like to write. It would probably be really cathartic too. I just get it bottled up and
it feels good to let it out.
Frustrated a little bit. Whereas the boys, easier and more open, and they're built different at different stages in life, and classic middle child kind of stuff. Right. Just easy going, right down the middle, blend in and get along with everybody, stuff like that. So, frankly, makes it easy. Comparison, I think.
Yeah,
really, girls are hard.
Well, I heard girls were easy when they were younger.
Yeah,
and they get harder as they get older, and boys are hard when they're younger and get easier as.
I could subscribe to that. Bennett, very maternalistic, very in charge, would take care of her brothers. Like, hey, we put the kids to bed. So, like when she was 9, she put in the 5 and 3-year-old to sleep, read the books, brush the teeth. Yeah. She's in charge. Wow. She'll run that show. She's proud to be able to read a really great book, really, really well. And we could celebrate that. And yeah, that was awesome. So that actually checks out pretty good.
Okay.
Wow. Funny.
Yeah.
Like it's around the puberty years that they say it switches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're doing their own thing and their own way. And they're done, I guess. No. Casting gross generalizations or whatever.
Yeah.
They're done being the mother role or the leader role. They go, I'm going to go do my own thing.
Right.
Like, how could I possibly complain about that? I'm literally doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm demonstrating every day that I leave the house and I go to this shop that Steve and I open and go, yep, I'm just actually going to do my own thing. Thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't falter for doing the same thing.
So when they want to move away and when they want to go on an adventure and they want to start something, they want to do something weird, be like, yeah, I did kind of empower that. That's my bad.
That's all me.
My B.
That's all me, honey. Yeah, that's me in there. Yep.
So is Auburn her top choice right now, or is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's all in.
Yeah.
Got the the roommate and the dorm
so already
picked.
accepted
Yeah.
everything. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
that was.
How you feel about that one?
I feel a little disconnected.
Yeah.
Which I've not said that out loud yet.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking. In that I didn't go and visit the campus when they first went. It's like, I know it's beautiful. I know people love it. We have friends who went and they're crazy supportive. They're like, Bennett is going to love this. I'm like, oh, I bet that's super cool. Watch Auburn play basketball. Man, they're good. Hey, Bruce Pearl. I think I need to get on that campus.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, this is the environment you're going to be in and people that you'll be around. And there's the bus that you'll take to the airport. There's where you'll eat. For me to feel something besides, I'm happy for you. You chose it. It chose you. That's what else could anyone want in life?
Mhm.
And okay, very brave. It's big.
Yeah.
Wow. So anyway,
That's a big
That's
move from the
huge.
from being in the Midwest out to the coast.
it
And
is. Everybody's all into these SEC schools
Yeah.
and a big time football experience and going south.
just big time
But
sports experience in general. You know,
I mean, it'll be awesome. I can't wait for her to say I had to stand in line for 3 days to get tickets to this game. Whatever. Awesome.
Yeah.
Go do that.
first tailgate,
Yes.
all that stuff.
It should be pretty wild. But I hope she'll tell me stories,
Oh
Right.
yeah, sure she will.
right?
Yeah.
I don't get a lot of stories right now, but maybe she'll share some of those. Should be cool. And then I can
On Parents
Connect with it
Weekend
a little
and stuff,
more.
you get to go and participate.
I sure hope
You
so.
know, Yeah,
yeah.
of course. You
Yeah.
know, go to a
It goes
tailgate and,
join sorority. You got the parents weekend for that as well,
That's
which is
the plan.
a whole nother.
And yeah, she's eager to do it and has it all sorted out. And I have no doubt that she'll absolutely nail it. No thanks to me. I stayed out of it and she nailed it.
That's
Pretty
awesome. Awesome.
Well, how do you think you've balanced being a high achiever with the emotional demands of fatherhood? You know, especially as your kids have become adults.
Super generous to say that. First of all, I just try real hard. I'm a high trier.
I try.
It stems from. Have you ever taken a disc profile
Mhm.
test, the DISC one?
Mhm.
Like I know, I usually come out like pretty high on I,
Mhm.
and one of the things about I, like sometimes they need time to themselves, but sometimes can be engaging. And one of the things is high need for approval. Like I just need you to say good job sometimes.
Right.
So I'm a high trier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Read the question again. I'm gonna think about it for a second.
Yeah. How do
You
you balance
balance.
being a high achiever with the emotional demands of fatherhood?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I've been pretty thoughtful about what a lot of people probably would say is selfish. I'll go for a run rather than maybe doing some kids' homework. Because then, boy, am I feeling good. And then I'm ready to serve. And so I probably put myself first more than I should. But I think the results have been that when I'm there, when I'm engaged and we're doing stuff, it's all in. There's no real half-ass version of stuff that I do.
Can't pour into others from an empty cup.
Right.
You know?
So
It's the oxygen on the airplane.
So that's it. Whether I knew it or not, I think I'm all in on that. I've probably taken it too far. I've probably absolutely taken it too far, but it has certainly empowered these kids to be like, "Oh, I'm going to go do this."
Yeah.
Decide something and do it. Awesome.
Yeah.
It's because you've seen it.
Right.
So again, I think balance is a generous word for it because most people I think don't that way. You might catch a little judgment
Yeah, there's this Thomas
for
Sowell,
filling your cup.
this Thomas Sowell quote that says, "There's no solutions, only trade-offs."
Yeah.
And
there you go.
I really subscribe to that, and that's something we've brought that quote up a few. I feel like on the last
Mhm.
couple episodes, but I think it's just something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. You know, especially with the whole work-life balance thing. Like,
Yes.
there's no solutions, there's only trade-offs.
I used to just have this saying, again, it's silly. It's supposed to be everything in moderation, right?
Mhm.
I was like, no, nothing in moderation.
Yeah, then you're gonna
All
have
things, a lot, all the time, really intensely as far as you can take them.
Yeah, let's redline everything.
Yeah,
One
kinda.
one rep max everything here.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. it's a weird way to do things, but man, it helps you get through stuff and hobbies and adventures and times in your life. Just keep redlining it. But then the other half of that is health and wellness. I did start paying a lot more attention to recovery and to sleep as the final frontier. You can make yourself go as fast as you want, jump as high as you want, lift as much as you want. What about sleeping as good as you possibly can?
Yeah.
And so I'm all into just like being the best sleeper.
That's something over like the last 40 days now. I got this Whoop strap.
Yes.
And it's been it's really cool. I mean, the data that this thing gives me every day, and like able to track all my workouts, and I can even wear it while I do jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
It's got this underwear that
you can strap it
strap it anywhere, and it works, and it reads. And I'm finding out how poorly I'm an efficient sleeper.
Okay.
I just I don't sleep enough. I'm just that little kid that doesn't want to go to bed.
Yeah, you're not recharging your battery.
Yeah. The kids go to bed, my wife goes to bed, now I'm like, oh, it's my time now. Now I can watch whatever I want, or I can go do this, or I can
binging Vikings now. I should go to sleep, but I'm gonna watch the Vikings
another
show
episode.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I got what's one more, and then I wake up the next morning, I'm like, God damn it, why'd I watch that extra episode?
All right, so what's maybe favorite thing that you've taken out of Whoop? I worn one for a while once.
Yeah, I'm loving it. The sleep I think is really cool, but then also just like, it gives you a strain score every day, and I'm just like, I'm like, I gotta hit.
You're trying to achieve it as opposed to staying away from.
Oh yeah, I love to just. I'm also in a group with a bunch of my friends at the gym. And so it's like I pride myself on working harder than them every day, or whatever. It's like I want to. I want to see my name at the top of the leaderboard,
dude. We're
so does Whoop say you should stay
not
awake?
hang out? We should probably never hang out. What about HRV? Did you know anything about it?
I didn't know
have
anything
you started?
I pay attention to that now.
You're all over it now.
What is that?
Your heart rate variability.
Do you want to try to explain it? I think I've got it figured out, but I want someone else to do it.
I'm good. If I do, I'm gonna read it off the app because I'm. I'm
okay,
not very good at.
I'll do it, but you got to promise that if I mess it up, you'd be like, that's not what the app says. Okay, so heart rate variability is a nuanced difference than beats per minute. Let's just pick 60.
Okay.
Just because it's super easy to do. If your heart rate is 60 beats a minute, it's beating once every second. HRV, heart rate variability, says it's not actually every 1 second. It's 0.95 seconds, and then 1.05 seconds, and then 0.96, and then 1.04. You know what I mean? Little variations and variabilities, and the higher in milliseconds, the number of the variation, the variability, healthy and fit and ready you are. It's like a readiness score is what Garmin is doing to translate it when they put it in their stuff, for example.
So
I think you explained it perfectly.
Okay, cool.
So you want a higher variability.
You absolutely do. If you can hit HRV of 100, it's a second.
That's a big one.
Right? If your HRV falls because your normal is 50, and it's falling in the 30s, you're stressed. You haven't been sleeping well. You're sick or you're about to get sick. And so it's going to be a really great leading indicator of things. I just looked at mine the other day. I took it on a 6-month view, and I could see where it was hovering. I could see really, really stressful times through the holidays when we were supposed to be open, but our building wasn't ready, and we didn't have the permits, and the drains weren't in. And we were told 2 weeks, tomorrow, Tuesday, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. My HRV, March 3rd. It's skyrocketed, it doubled.
Really?
And it's leveled out, and it went up. I had the highest, best sleep, most restful, strong readiness like yesterday. Like you can see it. It mimicked my life, exactly what was happening to me via my sleep. Anyway.
It's crazy. It's
powerful and insightful.
It's a very powerful tool, and I'm looking at it all the time. It makes me like. Because I think your HRV is one of the big things for, like you said, like your readiness, or on Whoop, it's the recovery score or whatever. I think because my wife, she has a Aura ring, and it's the readiness score on there. But when I got right after I got this Whoop strap, 2 weeks later the new version came out. So I bought it. It was the 4.0.
Yeah,
2 weeks later the 5.0 came out, and I was like. So I emailed them because I knew there's a 30-day money back guarantee. So I was like, hey, I see the new one just came out. Can I return this one and get the new one? They're like, yeah, you don't even have to return it. We'll send you 2 free months to gift to somebody, and we'll send you the new one. Which I was like, oh, cool. And so my wife, she's been wearing the Whoop and the Ring to like compare the difference, and I mean they're both pretty accurate as far as. But I think she was telling me, she's like, I think the Whoop is better for like athletes and like athletic folks than the Ring, because like the Ring, I mean, doing. Depending on what you're doing, obviously, but like it's
the form factor.
Yeah, like I like the variation on this thing, because like I mean I can, take it off here and then it.
You got a different band you can put into.
Yeah,
Have you got any different bands?
I bought the bicep one. I haven't really worn that very much.
What about styles and colors too?
No, I need to. I've just been wearing this basic black.
I've got a nice
one,
Argyle one that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
Makes me feel pretty sophisticated.
Fancy. Yeah, I'd like to get a dress up Whoop.
Exactly, because otherwise it's weird. Like you look at it, and you're like, well, it doesn't tell time, but yeah,
but it looks nice.
Yeah, it does.
No, I just love that there's a bunch of different ways to wear it. They got the underwear,
Buy a Whoop.
Yeah. Okay, no, let me send you the link. I'll
you don't just buy one; you subscribe to one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You now subscribe to this lifestyle.
So my question is, does that help you like track the proper amount of sleep? Because everybody's different.
Yes.
Like because for me, like I feel like if I sleep too much, then I'm exhausted.
That's a real thing.
And for me, like I feel like my optimal hours of sleep is 6 to 7 hours.
Yep. It's not the 8 like people.
And if I'm below it, I'm tired.
Yeah.
If I'm groggy.
Yeah.
If I'm above it, like I don't want to do shit. Like I just like it. Just
you're off the rhythm.
Yeah.
I've got it down to where when I was sit on the couch, everybody's gone to bed, and I'm watching a show, I'll yawn. Like, all right, time to put a stick fork in this day, and I look at the clock. I'm like, 10:22, and it just kept happening. I go to bed at 10:22. That's my time.
Yeah,
and everything is based on that. If I'm a little late getting to bed, I get a poor consistency score, and it absolutely affects me the next day. Like it's dialed in, and it'll help you learn what are your rhythms, what are you doing before and after, when are you eating, when are you blue light, all these different factors, and then guide you to say you need to be going to bed in this 15-minute range and getting up in this 15-minute range as consistently as possible. Kind of, not fall apart, but
they're not going to be as optimal as they could be.
Totally.
Yeah,
you'll find
it's cool. You'll like it. And
your minute.
It's fun. I mean, it's like I'm obsessed with like always looking at it. I'm always like checking out where I'm at. Oh man, my strain's loaded up. Oh man, I'm way below on my steps. I better go for a walk, or let me take the dog for a walk real quick, or whatever it is. It's like I gotta hit that step number. I gotta hit that strain score.
Do you do something and then be like, dude, I don't think it counted the whole thing. No way that was a 2.7.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, all the time. Yesterday I did this
it didn't even happen.
Brutal CrossFit workout, and I was like laying on they had to peel me off the floor, and I look at it, I'm like, 12? That's it? Like, come on. I was like, that was at least a 15.
Yeah, don't you want to write in there, be like, I want you to check my data again because I worked real hard.
Yeah.
No, you're so efficient. It was only a 12.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah, but it's just cool. I've enjoyed it a lot.
What does it typically say when you're rolling for jiu-jitsu?
I burn anywhere from like 5 to 800 calories or so. Usually my strain score is anywhere from 8 to 18, depending on the day. It just totally depends. Because I was wearing it on my bicep for a while. I didn't before I got the bicep strap. I saw some people were just taping it to their bicep with KT tape.
Okay.
And so I did that for a while, and then I found out one of the guys I train with, he has the underwear, and I was like, ooh, that seems like a way better option, and so I bought the underwear, and the underwear is awesome, just because like you don't even know it's there,
right?
And I like the other day I took the underwear off to get in the shower, and I completely forgot to and all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, it's still in the underwear. Yeah, but it's cool. It's been really man, like when I did, because it gives the strain score is like how hard you work on the day I did Murph. It was it's a scale of 1 to 21. 20, and that's the strain. And on Murph I got a 20.
Oh,
which
that makes sense.
That was my highest score I've hit so far.
I wonder what the strain score is when you send your Whoop through the laundry.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like 7.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, nice. Cool.
Thank you.
Cool. All right.
Take that one.
Yeah, I'll take that one as a score.
I'm not even going to delete that.
Yeah, exactly.
This makes up for the walk you missed.
Yeah, walk I missed. Yeah, and I like that it'll tell me like not it'll tell me like you better start winding down about 30 minutes or so before, or like an hour before I should go to bed.
Yeah.
For like because you can set an alarm on it too, so it'll vibrate to wake you up.
Oh, okay.
Which is cool. But yeah, it's a lot of cool things, and it's pretty reasonable. It's like $240 for the year, and that includes that's a year subscription, and that gives you the band too. And I think after that, it's just an additional like $240. But
got it dialed in now.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean,
when does yours arrive?
Yeah.
Well, send me the link.
I'll send you.
No,
the
there
link.
you go.
I'll send you the link.
Pass one over.
Yeah, I'll say I get a free month if you sign up. So
There you go. Anything to help with it.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon, this has been awesome having you in here, man. I've really enjoyed our
My
conversation.
pleasure. Yes.
We typically end the show the same way every time. So before we get you out of here,
We like to play a little game called the Tombstone Game.
Oh.
Here lies Brandon. What do you want it to say on your tombstone?
Oh, I told you I was sick. No. Man. It probably is something to do with that little hashtag or motto, like nothing in moderation is probably how I've gone after stuff, and maybe most represents me. That doesn't make it balanced or healthy, but that would be so me.
Yeah.
That's
nothing
the
in
point. That's
moderation.
perfect.
I love it.
Great.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button for us. Pat and I have a goal to hit 500 subscribers before the end of the year. So if you could click that subscribe button, that helps us out a ton. Click that like button as well. Comment what you thought below, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.